Compare the values of the quadratic and exponential equations in the table below. So our exponential equation is 4 to the 2x, and our quadratic equation is 4x squared plus 10x. And we're looking at comparing these values for every change of of 1, change in x of 1, from -2 to -1, from -1 to 0, 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. So between -2 and -1, our exponential changes by less than 1, and then again from -1 to 0, our exponential changes by less than 1. While, on the other hand, our quadratic equation changes by 2 units, and then between -1 and 0 changes by 6 units. So at least in the beginning, from -2 to -1 and then -1 to 0, our our quadratic is growing or changing a lot faster than our exponential equation over here. But then let's see what happens next. Between 0 and 1, our exponential changes by 15 units, while our quadratic only changes by 14 units. Between 1 and 2, our exponential changes by over 200 units, whereas our quadratic only changes by about 20 something units, a little over 20 units. So we can see that even though in the beginning our quadratic was changing faster, by the end our exponential equation is growing much faster than our quadratic equation, and its value is ultimately going to be higher than our quadratic equation. And we can back this up in a graph as well. Here we have our quadratic equation graphed, and then here we have our exponential equation graphed. And you can see in the beginning the exponential is growing slower, it has a lower value than the quadratic. By the end our exponential is much higher and grew much faster, jumped all of a sudden to grow much faster than our quadratic equation. And let's take a look mathematically, algebraically, at why this is so. Again, if we look at the first few values of the exponential equation, we can see that we are multiplying 4 by successively larger and larger and larger values, so the equation is going to be growing pretty quickly, right? Because we see 4 squared is 4 times 4, 4 to the 4th is 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, 4 to the 6th is 4 times itself 6 times, which is, if you take the first 5 terms, that's 1,024 times 4. So we're multiplying the same number, but by much larger numbers. Whereas in the quadratic equation, we have 4x squared, so we got 4 times 1 squared, 4 times 2 squared, 4 times 3 squared, 4 times 4 squared, which is the same as 4 times 1, 4 times 4, 4 times 9, and 4 times 16, so on and so forth. But these numbers that we're multiplying 4 by in the quadratic are nowhere nearly as large as what 4 is getting multiplied by in the exponential. And this is why, even though an exponential might start off slowly, growing slowly, or have lower values than a quadratic, eventually the exponential will always outgrow and have a larger value than the quadratic because it is growing much faster than the quadratic.